says we're live on YouTube. Now, let's see. Are we really live on YouTube? Yes, we are live on YouTube. Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to my channel. Well, to this channel. If you are watching this live, you're watching it on New Light Streaming Love. If you are watching the recording after the fact, you're watching it on Sassy Seer Sheila. And I highly recommend that you are subscribed in both places because I don't know. I never know. Good morning, Journey Into It. How are you this morning, my love? Boy, it's been a weird couple of days for me. I gotta say, man, I haven't been here since what? I think Saturday or Sunday. I don't even know. I haven't done any recording or anything. And actually, a couple of those days, I couldn't keep my eyes open. I was so sleepy. And I actually was up at 5 a.m. this morning, but then also I got to the point where I was so I was sitting here going like this when I was starting to go to do some recording a little earlier. So I had to just take a little meditation, a little time out for myself. So very interesting. The Glencona came out this morning. Card number 62 from the fairy deck. Oh, and I'm seeing something that I've never seen in that card before. Vanessa, good morning. She said, "Good morning, Sheila. Is so happy to finally catch your morning chat." Oh, I'm so glad that you're here, that you could make it as well. Um, Sometimes like I say, I miss coming every single day. I've wanted to come and do one of these, and every day when it comes time, I either haven't been able to keep my eyes open, or something has kept me from doing the live, and I'm not even exactly sure what. But I choose to surrender to the wonder and awe of it all. So there's that today. It is my understanding, I believe it is tomorrow. Okay, so there's this one PhD that I don't follow, but for some reason I keep seeing his posts. He's been posting every day since the lunar eclipse. And so that's for almost 2 weeks I've seen his postings. And like I said, I don't follow him. So I'm not quite sure why he keeps coming up in my feed. It's not like I'm clicking on it or anything like that. So it's very interesting to me. Oh, I think I just got the answer to that. And I had this card the very last time I was here. It came out. Where you are is where it's at. From the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle. Okay. That's very interesting for a couple of reasons. So, because I've been asking, what's going on? What is the what, right? And I've also been seeing, although I haven't clicked on them, they keep coming up in my field in YouTube. Again, even though I'm not following any of these people, not clicking on them, a couple of different readers telling Libra that there's a lot about to change, right? And I can feel something. I just don't know what. By the looks of this Glencona, because I've never seen this, I'm going to show this card to you guys, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it. It's as though there is another face right above my finger there. I don't know if that's coming in or not because I'm holding it Can you see that face? I've never seen it quite like that. I've seen, I'm aware that in this on this card, you'll see when I read it, it talks about him wearing a mask, but I've not seen that face like that superimposed over top of the face that's in the bottom. So very interesting about that. I'm hearing something about emergence. Well, there's been a lot about emergence of late. I don't know how long Journey Intuit's going to be here. I really am hoping that we can do a conversation about what's been going on with her at some point. And it's really not my story to tell, but I think there's some, I don't know, it has to do with consciousness emerging. Not just our higher consciousness, although that is a part of it, right? Everybody's larger, more expansive consciousness. Wow. For some reason, that had to show itself to me. So I'm going to take that as well. Hi, Mark. I haven't forgotten about talking with you, sweetheart. I just haven't been in any sort of frame of reference. Vanessa said, I feel like a lot of people in life currently are wearing a mask and hiding things. Well, I'm sure you're probably right, but in my estimation, all that ends up doing is hiding it from themselves. Because, and that's okay too, because each will be shown in the moments when they are ready. I'm convinced about that. I hid things from myself for so long that I was running from myself, and I practically ran myself off the planet. And each being has the right to do that if that's what they desire. And if they're hiding things from other beings, well, that's giving those other beings, I mean, I've had this conversation with loved ones before when they say, well, you hurt my feelings. Well, that's giving me an awful lot of power. I'm not in your body. I haven't touched you. I can't possibly hurt your feelings. Especially if I'm doing things to take care of myself. That's giving an awful lot of power away. And that is something that we've been taught from time we're little, to give our power away. And at least that's what it feels like for me. Whenever, boy, I tell you, there's a whole lot of showing myself the bottom of the deck lately, and I don't normally do that. I did this the last time. This one's the communal dance. Oh, Shifting Universes is the card that came out. And then as I put the deck up, I showed myself the communal dance. Very interesting. Okay. Who wants to go first? I think the Glencona actually wants to go first. Card number 62 is numerologically an 8. The 8 for me is not just about manifestation, which is what the 8 is supposed to be about, but I also feel like it's about materialization, which on one level is where I think as creator beings, we are headed. And what I mean by that, materialization, right now, right? Eventually. Will it happen in my lifetime? I have no idea. I think a lot of a lot of things would have to change before that actually happens. And perhaps that is because it would have to change within me before it could happen. I don't know. However, okay, so the Glencona. I hope, can y'all hear me okay? This thing hanging right here in my face is going to take some getting used to, that's for sure. But apparently that was part of the issue with my whole microphone thing, is the microphones were, which I can't imagine. I project pretty loudly. It's kind of weird to me that the microphone was too far away from me, but apparently that's what it was. Okay, so the key words for this card are illusion, delusion, lust, projection, and clear sight. The Glencona. Oh, thank you, Journey Into It. I appreciate you letting me know that. She said clear sound. Have you ever noticed that when we really, really want someone or something, we tend to see it without clarity? Mark said, please be aware that we haven't gotten to the core of our possible conversation yet. It might take time. Okay, well, thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. So have you ever noticed that when we really, really want someone or something, we tend to see it without clarity? The object of our lust looks flawless and glamorous, which should tell us something right away, but usually it doesn't. No, that's a true statement. He says his name is Smooth Harry, but that may be a little illusion of his own. Unlike the Pook, the Glencona doesn't change his shape to tempt us with our own mental confusions and paradoxes. He simply wears a mirror in which we see our desires temptingly displayed. He doesn't try to fool us. He simply allows us to fool ourselves. Well, he may try just a little, just to make the test a little more difficult. After all, we can be more proud of passing a difficult test than an easy one, can't we? Smooth Harry also appeals to our vanity, and the more we have of it, the easier his work is. A little flattery, and we'll believe whatever he wants us to swallow, especially since it is just what we want to swallow anyway. Of all the fairy challengers, Smooth Harry is most likely to be sly. He practices a sort of emotional judo. Oh, no wonder this card wanted to show itself to me from the bottom of the Alchemy Elementals deck. Okay. He practices a sort of emotional judo where he lets our own desires lead us into a fall. As we rush headlong toward our vision of perfection, he need only step to one side as we cast ourselves at him, and down we go. Not fun, but maybe perhaps we might just learn something from it. It is not good to make decisions when blinded by lust, whether it is lust for a person, a thing, or an idea. We need to pause and take our time before making actual commitments. We need to read the fine print, check out the foundations, get a mechanic to test the so beautiful secondhand car. If we are considering buying something, we can refuse to let ourselves be rushed into it and take time to make sure it is really what we think it is. if we are considering making, okay, as an emotional projector, this just came in for me. I know that in times past, I have leapt at things because I've felt pressure, right? And I have, because what I just heard was my own voice and saying, and I think I've said it in readings before, I now, if someone needs an immediate answer from me, it's going to be no until I give myself the opportunity to sit with it and feel into it and make sure that this is what I want or don't want or whatever the case may be. Uh, so I wonder if that's part of what's, coming up for me personally, right? We need to read the fine print, check out the foundations, get a mechanic to test the oh so beautiful secondhand car. If we are considering buying something, we can refuse to let ourselves be rushed into it and take time to consider, no, take time to make sure it is really what we think it is. If we are considering making a commitment to other people, we need to take our time and really get to know them much better. This is another lesson in seeing the truth behind a beglamored surface. Though in this case, it is we who have cast the glamour. And kind of interesting that before I read all this card, I talked about how I know we all have given our power over to someone else. And that really is what this is about. To me, that card is about making certain that we don't give our power over to someone else, something else. That's the beauty of all the different methods that I have found to look into the truth of me: human design, gene keys, astrology, the invisible garment, all those wonderful tools that help me see the snapshot of the energy that was in place at the moment of my birth, which kind of helps me get an idea of what who and what I am. It's been very, very helpful for me. And if any of that is something that you want to know about for yourself, send me an email, consciousconversationcentral@gmail.com. I don't charge for any of these things that I do, because they're all very freely available on the internet. I just know where they are and I can do them rather quickly. And I will do that for folks. Okay, so the next card that wants to come out is surrender to wonder and awe. Open to the magic of every moment and sense the awe and wonder in all of life. This attitude will keep you connected to the ecstasy of flow. And for me, what I see depicted here in this card is the mix of energies, right? That I haven't talked about as much on this channel as I know exists. And that is what I call the Azoth energy that actually came from Lisa Risingberry. And I've noticed in puzzle pieces that I've collected over the years, even those who aren't familiar with what that is, there's something to that. The mixture of, for me, this is fire and water, right? And that Azoth energy, you see how it's coming together in her core here. At any rate, and it says in all of life. And the moment I read that, I'm being reminded of how everything, what we would even consider as good and bad, because it's not or, it's and. Okay. So the next card that wants to be read is the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle. And like I said, this card came out the very last time I was here. Card number 14, numerologically, that's a 5. It's all about change. Where you are is where it's at. And, and it says here, stay still until you are divinely moved. Well, that's very specific. Again, I think I may have even said that last time. When one isn't certain of what to do, don't do anything. That's kind of been what I am developing the attitude about nowadays, right? It's just hang wherever you are and wait until divinely inspired to move, to make a move, to because it will come. So there's a quote here from someone named Thomas Mann. Solitude gives birth to the original in us, to beauty unfamiliar and perilous, to poetry. There's a message here that says, when you feel resistance, it might mean you're not up to the task. Then again, it might mean that you are up to the task, but don't realize your own strength. Resistance sometimes serves to preserve your energy and keep you safe. Without resistance, you might maniacally say yes to everything, perhaps for fear of missing out. But right where you are is holy ground. From a quantum physics perspective, you are already everywhere, and everyone and everything is within you. When you realize this, there can be no fear of missing out because you are already where it's at. Honor the spirit of resistance and know it will be with you through every step of your hero's journey. You've done enough inner work to know the difference between a yes and a no. It's wise to pause and consider your choices and actions with respect to your available energy, schedule, and resources. Yes, and Crystal and I had that conversation not that long ago that we put out on the channel. And I'm beginning to see that conversation in a bit of a different light now. It seems like I keep being told that. So there's a dream symbol here saying no. When you say no in a dream, you are being guided to release good and better to make room for best. Your dream's reward system lets you know when you are on track or when you have strayed. Courageous choices will be affirmed with pleasurable scenarios and feelings. When you are off track, you will find yourself in an unpleasant scenario or shouting no at an adverse energy. All of this supports you in living true to your most magnificent version of you. There's a mantra here: I move when moved. Until then, I revel in the deliciousness of the present moment. Well, there's something to that, I think. Even if I don't particularly like it, because there's a part of me that wants to say, oh, but you should be doing X, Y, Z. Oh, should I? Says who? And why? What part of me is saying that? You know what I mean? Now, very interesting here to me that these two cards came out because I accidentally showed myself the bottom of the deck. And I feel like they want to be paired together. These are the ones that were at the bottom of the deck. This one is emotional, bottom of the Alchemy Elementals deck. And this one is the communal dance. And again, this one is a 5 straight up, not numerologically. This one was a 5 numerologically. And this one is a 5 straight up. Ooh. This one is a 5 numerologically, I believe. Let me do the math on that. I'm so brain dead without a calculator. Yeah, no, yes, this one is a 5 numerologically. Interesting. Okay, so we're going to look at all of these for certain. Let's look at the communal dance. No, Shifting Universes wants to be first. It's card number 7. Somebody's asking what deck is this? This is the Journey of Love deck here. Quinn J, good morning. I'm so glad you could join, love. Wow, there's 9 of you guys in here. Okay, that's very interesting. The other day, I had nobody show up the entire time. And now there's 9 of you guys up in here. Thank you so much for being here. Charlotte, I didn't get to say good morning to you as well. Whenever Charlotte and Vanessa show up, I always feel, because if I'm not mistaken, you both have shared with me that you are my age. I don't know. It's like the words Old Home Week came in, so I don't know why that is, but it's very interesting that you both are here. So that's interesting to me, and I'm not even sure why. Okay, so Shifting Universes. You are blessed with an opportunity to change gears, to change your life, to jump on the fast train. You are invited to fling yourself off the repetitive treadmill way of life and into a dance through nature, to be utterly confused and delighted, to accept the way of divine trust, even with its chaos. The instability that precedes all genuine. I'm being flashed right now. A reader that I was shown just this morning. That I clicked on watch later, so apparently I have to go and watch it. It's something about timelines jumping. And she does a lot of clear channeling, very similar to me. I have heard her before. So that's very interesting. Okay, so for those of you that are watching this over on Sassy Seer Sheila later, not live, I will link that in the Show More section, that video, immediately following this. And you guys here, I'll go over and screen share before I leave here so you can see what video I'm referring to. It's an hour and 35 minutes long. So I don't know who else that's for, but somebody else, whether here or over in Sassy Seer Sheila, apparently I had to share that. So There's that. Hmm. So I'm going to read that again. You are invited to fling yourself off the repetitive treadmill way of life and into a dance through nature, to be utterly confused and delighted, to accept the way of divine trust, even with its chaos, the instability that precedes all genuine creativity. So here it is, your quote, get out of jail free card. Okay. Your opportunity to make a mess and find what you didn't know you were looking for. That's interesting. You are being nudged. If you wish, you are being nudged, period. If you wish, let yourself go down that strange path opening up before you without knowing what it is. Even as you take your next step, as as an older disabled person, that's a tall order. Can I just say? Your universe is shifting and stranger, more beautiful worlds beckon. Why not go where you haven't been before? I like that idea. I'll bite. We'll see. You'll find yourself there and realize you are more than what you once thought you were. Well, that keeps being shown to me on a lot of levels for all of us. This oracle has a message for you. If you are thinking of changing location, jobs, houses, or attitudes, trying something new, especially if it is unusual for you, then the universe is supporting you. Now is the time to accept what you didn't expect. And there's a little thing here called the dream. The taste and touch of you within. Thoughts linger on a sweet caress. You come to me, no sounds distract. The night's embrace of innocence. The artist's brush across my lips. The palette rich in colors deep, to flow with feelings now renewed and blend as one in breath and hue. Entwined, our bodies bathe in love and weep with longing's slow release, emotion's song and soft refrain, awaken dreams that never cease. Okay, so interesting. The dream oracle was a 5. This card is a 7, but it's talking about a dream and it's talking about emotions. Wow. And the emotion card. Okay. I don't know. There's something big here. Quinn J said, that is interesting. I watched some quantum leaping frequency videos a few times this past week. Okay. We're going to go straight to the communal dance now. Because in many ways, what happens on this channel, whether I'm here by myself or not, is a communal dance. I live in community. We actually live in a larger collective community, even if we live alone. So there's something to that. And again, this is a 5, all about change. Lover, you have been alone too long. Your community calls you to surrender your isolation for this moment in time. Well, given how many of you guys are here, I'd say that might be a true statement. Hey? and instead join the cosmic conga line. And I want to scream at Journey into it that that's true for you too, girly girl. Do you know how special you are? So much so that this community would not be the same without you. Your individuality and uniqueness can only enhance this group of souls that calls you to dance with them. Men and women, human and spirit, heaven and earth, your community is vast and rich and has much to share with you. Be lifted in celebration of belonging. Recognize that you are a part of something great. Can your heart grow warm with recognition? You belong. You are meant to be a part of this great dance of love awakening on the earth. Your heart is already beating to the rhythm of the music. This oracle brings you guidance. You are being drawn into a new community that is more aligned with your innate spiritual vibration. You'll feel more at home there and be able to share your gifts and talents more freely and with greater support. Let go of relationships or situations that you have been holding on to out of fear. If they are meant to continue with you, they will remain. If not, they will fall away, creating space for new connections to come into your life now. This is not a time to hide in what you have known, but to be open to playful connection with kindred spirits soon to be met. Well, isn't that interesting? When I stood in front of you, I knew something was in store. I could feel the excitement of our journey ahead, for I had been that way before. Each person comes into our life with lessons we may see, and in the reflection of that other self is the person we can be. Wow, okay. That's very interesting because I'm being shown a couple of things that have taken place of late. Things that you think you're interpreting it properly, but I've been shown, and this has happened to me before, and I've admitted this freely to anyone that'll listen, everyone who will listen. My intuition is not wrong. I'm told things, I share things. It's my interpretation that could be off. I got in 2017 that my name was going to go viral. I misunderstood. I thought it had to do with my creating my YouTube channel, and my last name is Corona. Again, not wrong. Interpretation was off. So and that's a puzzle piece for me that lets me know I think that happens to everybody. It's at least a possibility for everybody. We might get the right information, but as it comes through the experiential filter and goes through the clickety clackety of all the things that have gone before, the interpretation could be wrong. So it really behooves us all to keep that in mind, or at least I know for myself that it behooves me to keep that in mind. And I know too that I can be right for myself and totally wrong for, anybody else. Okay, so emotional. We're going to look at the emotional card first. It's on page 108. Because it's one of the sort of like the major arcana is the way I want to feel about this card. And its counterpart would be a major arcana card in the tarot, right? So it says, when the emotional pillar, this is a pillar card, when the emotional pillar shows up in your spread, the spirits are asking you to delve inward and to connect with your innermost feeling state. This pillar is about feelings, creativity, intimacy, and connection. The emotional pillar is a very feminine card. Not because women are the only ones who have feelings, because that's ridiculous. I couldn't agree more. I know men are very emotional as well. They don't always give themselves over to it, but they can be, and they have emotions, whether they want to believe that or not. uh, but because feeling itself is a feminine energetic, and that makes a lot of sense to me. So much of our Western culture is about doing and achieving and, quote, making shit happen. And that's fine and wonderful as long as it's bringing us joy. But so often we find ourselves busy doing, achieving, and making shit happen that we forget to tap into our feeling nature until something pushes us too far or pisses us off and we explode in rage or tears or feeling overwhelmed or what have you. Now, that's too true. The emotional pillar is the spirit's way of nudging you into a deeper relationship with your feeling state. Take a bath, go for a swim, be in nature, do some journaling, have a cry or an orgasm or a dance party, shake, drum, journal, sketch. Be in your creativity and your sensuality. Hmm. That's very interesting. And I just got a huge big flash of something right out of the corner of my vision right there. So that's very interesting. I wonder what that specifically I mean, I know what it specifically means, but I would love to hear from anybody if that evokes something specific for you. And if you don't want to put it in the comments, reach out to me. And you feel okay to reach out to me personally, I would love to hear. Sometimes some of you guys get insights for me. I know this, and you don't share them. Some of you do, but some of you don't. Please don't hold yourself back. If this really truly is a communal dance, which I feel like it is, what's the point if it's not? Then you have to be okay with reaching out. What's the harm? Again, it's not like I'm trying to charge anybody anything for anything, right? Okay, so this one, fire, tribal fire, moon. Wow. And it's on page 17, which numerologically is an 8. So that's very interesting. We've had a couple of 8s, we've had a couple of 5s. This one's a 5. Sacred communication weaves connection within the tribe. Hello. Hello. Wow. Communication becomes sacred when we speak from the heart instead of speaking from the mind. Words spoken from the heart activate the great flame that connects us all. Words spoken from the heart spark remembrance of our unity. Words spoken from the heart heal and activate, inspire and harmonize. Give voice to your emotions with language sourced from your heart. Now, there's like the fourth card that talks about emotion again. Wow. So there's a lot about emotions in the field right now, at least for me. Give voice to your emotions with language sourced from your heart. It's not about sounding smart or educated or grammatically stylish. It's about being true. Give voice to your truth and your vulnerability in service to that great flame of unity, such that it may burn brighter, warming not just you, but your friends, your family, your community, and your soul tribe. Well, if you haven't had the opportunity or you haven't felt drawn to the Joshua channelings, which is something I was given permission to record, you'll find it on a playlist here on New Light Streaming Love and on Sassy Seer Sheila. I put it in a playlist. You can start from chapter 1 and go all the way through. It is a connection of channelings from Joshua, and it's the most validating book I've ever read. And it talks about the fact, and I do feel like it's fact, that what we're doing here on this planet is moving from an ego-based consciousness to a heart-based consciousness. Now, it's taking a little time because we've all had our egos, our personalities programmed from birth with a whole bunch of incorrect information. Because, we had to be good little slaves, good little earners. Line up, do this, do that. Everybody has to be just so. And compare yourself to your neighbor because your neighbor is just so. And your neighbor earns more do-re-mi than you. And the truth is, if there's any truth to that, and I feel like there is, at least I feel like there is, it is at least a possibility that we are moving from a ego-based consciousness to a heart-based consciousness, and then it would absolutely require that one come from the heart. And that means not worrying about what anybody else thinks of me, because I come here and just speak my truth. Well, that's it. Let me just climb off of my soapbox now, because I realized just now that I got up on it and I just stood up there and told y'all what to do. But I highly recommend, because, I was, the best little Christian girl going back in the day, until, the preacher, my grandma, everybody that got involved couldn't answer some basic questions. And there was so much that I was seeing around me that didn't add up. But boy, oh boy, this set of channelings by Pamela Crabbe, that came to her, Joshua came to her. That's the human who carried the Christ consciousness back in the day, and what he has to say about the energy that he carried. And it couldn't be more validating, if you ask me. So I highly recommend that. If you haven't heard of it, you can go and read it for yourself if you would prefer. It's freely available on her channel on their website, Jeshua.net. But I did write and receive permission from her to record it and put it on the channels, so that you can just listen to it while whistle while you work, kind of thing. And yes, I do, as per I usually do, stop and give my 2 cents every now and again. But the truth of it is, there's so much validation in that for me that it was a huge puzzle piece for me, and you may find it to have been helpful for you. Well, I hope that you found something within this reading that spoke to you, because boy, I sure did. Oh, yeah, I said I was going to share my screen. Bear with me just a moment, and I'll go over here and find that. I will find that reading and share my screen so that, well, I hope I can because I saved it on my own. Yeah, we'll do this here. So bear with me just a moment. And so, because I don't remember the name of it. Here, it was under watch later. It is called Details, Clarity, Truth. The gap between timelines is closing. Pivotal turning point. Now let me zoom back up here. I'll show it to you so you can go and find it for yourselves. There it is. This young lady right here. 13 Moon Tarot is the name of her channel. And you can see I am not subscribed to her. I did listen to one other video of hers. It's been a while ago, it looks like to me. But at any rate, the fact that this one has come up, I don't know, like 3 times in my feed in the last little bit. I've now marked it to go and watch later. So if you kind of feel like there's something afoot for you, I highly recommend to go take a look at it too. And keep an eye out. I keep feeling a live intuitive hangout session wandering around in the ethers. Vanessa said, thank you, Sheila. Wishing you all a lovely day, everyone watching today. Yes, me too. Thank you all so much for being here. I love you guys so, so much. I hope that you will move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself. Personally, I feel like therein lie your purpose. If you're wandering around wondering what your purpose is, if you move towards what brings you joy, I have a feeling it's going to start showing itself to you, because that's what I'm just convinced that's the truth of it. So until we meet again, be well, my friends. Have a lovely rest of your day. Oh, yeah. One more thing. If you're not subscribed, please do so. And make sure you're subscribed in both places, because when I get ready to go live, I really don't know which channel I'll be going live on, because I've been feeling into it and I've been led of late to do live over here and live over here. I'm going to be uploading this one over on Sassy Seer Sheila, but I also I'm feeling that the next live intuitive hangout session may be over on Sassy Seer Sheila. So if you're not subscribed over there and you want to participate, make sure that you're subscribed over there too, so that you can participate. And you got to hit that notification bell if you want to be notified. Be well, my friends.